Well, let's find the domain and range of the following function. And let's refresh your memory a little bit on the domain. There it goes. Domain of a function. And I should have made that big before I started typing, but there we go. Your domain by default is all real numbers except, and this is specific for college algebra, ones that cause a zero in a denominator, ones that cause a negative number in a radical to with an even index. Odd index doesn't matter. And ones that cause a zero or a negative. Well, let me word that differently. Ones that cause log of zero or log of a negative number. There we go. Okay, so let's use those to help us solve this problem. F of x, problem is this 5. And f of x is equal to negative 7x squared plus 2. Okay, so the domain. Blah, 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 denominator. That implies you have a fraction. Don't have a fraction. Blah, 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 radical. That implies you have a radical with an even index. Don't have that. Blah, 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 log, log. That implies you have a log. So if you don't have any of those three, then by default, your answer is all real numbers. So domain will be negative infinity to positive infinity. Now to figure the range, the best way is to look at the graph. Now if you work with functions for a while, you kind of get an idea of you know what your range would be. You know what these numbers do and so forth. But again, the focus anymore has become more on using the graphing calculator, so we've kind of lost that feeling that we had before. So I'm going to press y equals clear, and this is negative 7x squared. So negative 7x squared plus 2. Now we know the 2 shifts it up to, and then the negative flips it across the x-axis. So it flips upside down. So let's push graph and see what it looks like. Now remember what I said, it shifts it up 2. Now we can't see this real well. I could zoom in if I wanted to. Let me choose zoom and choose zoom box, the first one, Z box. Now when I push enter on that, I could do an up arrow and left arrow. Doesn't matter how many times you're doing it. You're trying to put your cursor in the upper left-hand corner of where you want to draw a box at. So there's fine. So I'll push enter one time. Then I'll down arrow and right arrow. And as you do this, you'll see it starts drawing a box. And once you get it around what you want to zoom in on, you're going to press enter. And then it'll zoom in on just what you drew the box around. Now remember what I said. It shifts up 2 and it's flipped across the x-axis, so flipped upside down. Well, it's no surprise then what the range is going to be. The highest y value is 2. So it's going to go from negative infinity to 2. And there'll be a bracket on 2 because it includes it. Unless you got some kind of condition put on here saying you can't have it equal to 2, it's always going to be a bracket when you're looking at the graph. So let's see which one this matches. Negative infinity to... Looks like A would be our answer. So let's check that out. 5a. And that checks out.